Good for me evening. Good evening, everyone. It's fascinating what happens when we let the universe and, in fact, inform ourselves what is true and how we are choosing and willing to go forward. I posted on my wall last night, a bit after midnight. I was up, I was feeling a lot of what has been moving between George and I, and what I'm now beginning to have conversations with other women about, and I love it. It burns a fire in my belly to talk about how we have been alchemizing marriage, relationship, and for me, the frequency of love that I have known in my being since I was young exists, and have had to be initiated and grow and mature through to be able to stand in the truth of that love that I know. And ultimately, I've actually written several notes because so much wanted to come through for this live once I said I was going to do it, once I knew this was the right next move for me. Where we are going to end up in this conversation is in the frequency of love. So, my intention for this live is that it is a conversation. That if you are here, I'm pretty sure I'm on my phone, but I'm pretty sure I can see comments. After a while, there's always a delay. But as I'm speaking, or if you watch the replay later, I would love for you to let me know that you're here. If you relate, and I think many of you do and will, I would love for you to note that in the comments, to share what's happening with you. And part of the time I'm on this live, I'll be channeling. Part of the time I'll be sharing. And I will, as long as I can see them, I will get to comments as well, because I want this to not feel like I'm standing at the podium teaching you, but more that I'm bringing through information and we're sharing this space together and having a conversation. So, if you've been following my wall, you know George and I have been through a major transformation in our relationship. If you have not, the short story is we are coming up on our 30th year of being together. We have three grown, incredible human beings as our children. They all live in Atlanta. We are currently in Maine and have been traveling after George retired from a 30-year career. We sold our beautiful family home, went on the road traveling because our choice was to not keep living a life that started to feel dead, that was literally empty. Our marriage, our relationship, although we love each other deeply, our ability to connect and communicate and have deep intimacy had really waned in the movements of everyday life. And I want to map out for you some of what we have moved through, because I don't believe anybody else is doing this. And not that we are elite or special or better than anybody. I believe for George and I, our choice to change our life is so we can begin to map out a different way. I have been passionate about this for years. And George, I wouldn't say he's not been passionate. I would say, as a lot of couples and partners are experiencing, women have been in this space of growth and expansion and seeking and wanting to know more within herself for herself. If you're a woman, you've likely experienced this. If you're watching me, it's highly likely you've experienced this. And our men have been out in the world creating life, creating home for us, creating provision, providing, protecting, doing the job, navigating what it is to be out there while we have been going deep within. And She's now feeling she's grown past him, and he's feeling he has no idea what she wants. That seems to be a fundamental underlying energetic that is happening for a lot of couples, a lot of couples who have been married for a number of years and who are now beginning to come into a new space of consciousness, for even some new couples who are at an older stage in life, for some of you who are having children now, and that has opened your consciousness to a different level. There's this gap between him and her knowing and having the visions and having the knowing and seeing and carrying a desire to create. And her man is over here going, I've no idea what you're asking of me. I'm showing up, I'm providing, I'm doing the man things. And he has this sort of sense of knowing there's something more. He can feel the vitality in her and the energy coming through, but really, there's not a model out there for what a man does in this case, for what a couple does in this case. Where do you go from here? She's having this feeling, you as the woman are feeling you've outgrown him. You've done all of this growth, you've expanded, you've put time, energy, money in, and you see a whole new reality for this planet. As the man, you're going, I see it, I see her, I love her, I want to be with her, but I have no idea what she wants from me. She says she wants more intimacy. She wants a deeper connection. I'm showing up. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to give her what she wants, and maybe I just don't have it. And so in that space, you as the woman are frustrated, you as the man are frustrated. There's this gap that is between you, and you're challenged for how you connect. Because what's also true for these two individuals, this man and this woman who are deep in years of relationship, of having a life together, what you know, absolutely know, is that you love each other and you want to go forward together. There's just nothing out there telling you how. What do you do next? So I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to give you a different perspective outside of that bubble of frustration, and perhaps some tools, a little bit of a map for what is happening in the bigger picture and how to begin to navigate this. And again, if you're just joining in, or even if you're watching the replay, please post your thoughts. Please share your experience. Please have the conversation. This needs to open up because it touches so many women that I know. Women are talking about it, men are a bit quieter, and the conversation is going to and needs to come forward for the men also. Women are in a time and space when what is available to us is far beyond what we have ever had in this 3D reality. Certainly not for many, many lifetimes. The amount of money, the ability to create, the freedoms, the choices, the movements, we have it all at our fingertips. And the feminine is naturally inclined and drawn toward the higher realms, toward the mystical energy, toward her intuition. She channels, she carries all of that energy through. So it's not that the feminine is above the masculine or better. It's that there are some of those frequencies and experiences that are natural to her. What is natural to the man, to the masculine, is this earth realm of creation, of building, architecting, providing, protecting, taking care of, all those masculine energies that we in the feminine love. We want them. We want our men to carry these energies. We want to feel them. And some of what we are experiencing now is that, especially in these established relationships, you as the woman are accustomed to his protection, to him providing, creating a life for you, making it possible for you to create within your world, within your home, with your children, as the mom who's present in the home and sort of setting that tone as the woman of the house. I just talked about this in my mistress makeover series of transmissions. She's the mistress of the house. She sets the tone. She sets the energy. And for those of us who have been in long-term relationship, we became accustomed to what that looked and felt like. And even when it stopped working, for George and I, even when it stopped working, that pattern still existed in our being. And so in the feminine, quite commonly in these long-term relationships, even if it's a shorter term relationship, if you came together in the old paradigm when Pisces was strong and heavy and men took care of the women, men made the women feel better, women healed the men, women took care of the men and made them okay. In our own way, we were in a bind. We were bound to each other through an energetic bind. And what's happening, Michelle Chatham and I teach this in Iconic Bonding. In fact, we've created an entire new paradigm of intimacy and connection and bonding. What's happening now is that we're transitioning into the bond rather than the bind. Sense that in your system. The bind is tight, it's contained, it has obligation, it has transactional love. I do this for you, you do that for me. That's the way of being in relationship we're accustomed to. I have this role, you have that role. I do this as woman, you do that as man. When I do this as woman, I have the expectation that you as the man are going to do your part. For George and I, one example of that was, okay, well, we decided together consciously, I would stay home, I would be in the home, I wanted to be there for our kids, I wanted to create the home environment, and George would go to work. And so our spoken and nonverbal in the consciousness, in the energy body system, our agreement was, George will go to work to take care of me and the children. I will be in the home, provide the meals, take care of the house to take care of him. We had an exchange and we did it beautifully, absolutely beautifully. We had a beautiful home, a beautiful life, beautiful children, and it became stale because the energy is shifting. Not because he was wrong, not because I was wrong. And what I see so much in a lot of women is that you're tearing down your man. You have the eyes and the vision to sense into different dimensions and frequencies. And because you see them, because you've experienced them, because you know them, you believe it's for you to tell him. And perhaps not even believe, you want to. Like, you want to tell him. You want to say, babe, if you do this, everything is going to be great. Babe, I've been there. I've learned about it. I've studied it. I can read you. I can sense. This is what you need. Go do this. Please do this. Please study consciousness. Please shift. Please figure out intimacy. And her natural instinct is to tell him, is to lead him, is to let him know what she sees that he could do differently. And let's not mistake here. There is wisdom. There is channeling, there is vision that women get that comes into partnership and is shared with him. There's a different energetic of her sharing than the one that's coming out of her frustration because he doesn't get it, because he's not at the same level of consciousness, because she can't talk to him about what she's experiencing consciously, because the sex magic isn't there and she knows it's possible, because he doesn't get when she speaks about energy in the body or how she reads it or what's going on or how she's using energy to expand her business. She has deepened and is continuing to deepen. And that's what's happening with the feminine. With our masculine, with our men, they've been out there in the world, warriors, like literally men carry the warrior spirit. I watch George. He has the ability to go out in the world and do things I don't want to do. I don't want that energy. I don't want to be the warrior in our partnership. And our men are worn down from just shutting themselves down, going out there and doing the job. Because sometimes that's what a warrior has to do. He has to shut down and go to war. To go to battle, he's got to get into a different mindset to be prepared for that and go out there and do battle. It can't be the same as when he's home with his woman and his family. And so our men have been in the world doing battle in 3D, in the 3D world, while we women have been deepening in and doing our own work in the home. What's happening now is that as Aquarius energy is coming in and the feminine is deepening and having so much more expanded energy available to her, what's happening now is that the masculine has space to take a breath because we in the feminine are no longer looking to him to make us okay. We're no longer looking to him to have to carry it all. We are now able to hold some of that for ourselves. There is such a thing as feminine leadership, and it's her leading herself rather than collapsing into him. This is 100% my own experience. I married George when I was 20. I was 20, coming out of a very religious home and experience. I was incredibly naive. I was incredibly young, beautifully pure. He's 9 years older than me. Here's this man of the world who knows how to navigate it. I needed that. I needed him to lead me in ways I don't need the same now. I need a different kind of leadership. And some of that is me leading myself, is me taking care of myself, me knowing what to do when I'm out in the world and I'm going to go in a new place and I still get, on occasion, that little run of nerves inside of myself because it's so much bigger than what I know. That's my younger woman self experiencing that. I know how to handle that now. At 20, with a baby a year after we were married in August, first baby the next August, I had no idea. I needed a different energy from him. And he needed something different from me. We were different people, really. And in an entirely different time. It's not just that we've grown, it's that the energetics, the consciousness, the movement and what's true in our world has changed. Aquarian energy is wide open. Aquarian energy is not dense, is not heavy, does not have obligation, does not have transaction, does not have if this, then that. Aquarian energy in some ways has no rules other than it's all about your energy. And our men have not had to think about their energy. They've been in just get out there, be the warrior, get it done. So there's a gap also in terms of the woman, the feminine, is moving forward in this way, and the men are figuring out what this new space is. And because we as women don't need the same thing from them, they now have this spaciousness to go, okay, well, what is here? I hear what she's saying. I don't know what that means. And furthermore, I now have space to go, what do I want? Not how do I provide for my family? How do I take care of this? How do I do this at the job? But what do I want? How do I want to live my life? What do I want to build now? So often when I am teaching or mentoring or writing or whatever I'm doing, even how I see energy, it's always, I wish I had brought a crystal with me before I started talking. And they're everywhere around me, but I'm not going to bother to reach for one. But if you think of just a diamond that you hold up in the light, if you have it down here, not in the light, that diamond is beautiful. You can see different angles of it. You put that diamond in the light and you look at the sunlight through it, you're going to see something entirely different. And there are facets. The Aquarian energy is like that. Whether it's your own soul, Teresa of Avila, I love her. I love the way she talks about the soul as a castle with many mansions. I see that as a diamond with many facets. Whether it's the heart of a woman, whether it's the spirit of a man, or whether it's your relationship, you can turn it and there's going to be different facets, and they're going to look different in different light and at different times of day and in a different setting. So here we have men who have been creating life in a certain way and women who have been living life in a certain way. The fear in the woman is she has such deep desire for intimacy with him, with the man she loves, with the man she chooses. She has such deep desire for that, and her fear is she will die with that inside her. His fear, he has so much love for her, is that he'll never be enough. And again, this contributes to the gap. This creates the space. And where many, many couples find themselves now is with no idea how to navigate forward. There's no map for what's happening now, for living the life that you want, creating wealth, creating legacy together, being connected together, moving forward together. Not her dragging him, not him dictating how she should be, but together. And it requires her doing her work, her piece, present with herself, honest and open with him, and him doing the same. And men are doing their work in an entirely new way now. Or they're on the verge of that. They're beginning to do that. I've watched and been with George and I, obviously, right, in the last year and a half. And we've looked around. I can't tell you I see one couple who's doing this, forging a new pathway without saying we've got it all figured out. But we absolutely know we are doing this for the men and women who come after, for our children, for every couple who experiences the gap between what was and what they desire and want to create together. We were talking to a divorce lawyer a year and a half ago and still spent all of 2020 changing our life, leaving the job, selling the home, leaving Atlanta, traveling across the United States. And still, from January talking to the divorce lawyer, it wasn't until December that I knew with no question 100% it's George. I knew I wanted it to be him all year long. I knew I wanted it to be him, and still in the back of myself was like, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to do it. I don't know if he's going to make it. I don't know if he's going to jump that gap. I don't know if we're going to come close enough together. There's so much space between us. And not space, we're phenomenal companions. We do life beautifully. But in the intimacy that makes you feel alive. And here's another little nugget. Here's where we kind of get it wrong as humans. We think that living life alive with our finger on the pulse, with the blood pumping and the heart beating and the life force moving, we think that means we're up here. Woo, I feel amazing. Everything is happening. Our life is so good. Oh my gosh, the sex is off the charts. I'm channeling. I'm in the upper dimensions. All of this is happening. We believe that when we are living alive, there's going to be that adrenaline all the time. There's going to be this joy all the time. It's going to be magnificent. And here's what's true. That's not sustainable. And the high adrenaline rush all the time, that's fantasy. It's not real. Living alive is, this scares the fuck out of me. I feel so naked and unsure of how we ever get there. But I know you're the one for me. I know we're meant to do this. I know we belong together. And I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to feel stuff from 10 years ago that told me, no way. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to sit here scared to death and say what I need to say. I'm going to move forward naked. That's what lives in this gap. If you're going to navigate the gap together, you're going to be exposed, vulnerable, naked. You're not going to know how the hell it's going to happen. All you have to stand on is, I know it's a yes. And for her, she desires intimacy. For him, he needs to feel valued. And her intimacy, here's that key. Woman, your intimacy is first with you in ways you don't even know yet exist. This isn't just self-love, just know who you are, know what you want. It's so much deeper than that. It's staying right there with yourself no matter what, in what you know, in how you love, in what is true within your entire being, no matter what he does. You stay true to you. And for you men who desire to feel valued, that also comes from you. Not your job, not your wife or your woman, not your family, not your money. You, as a man, knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for, knowing the direction you want to go and what your internal architecture is and how you're going to build with it. And trusting that no matter what. And for both of you together, that's how you begin to navigate. You trust you first, and then you trust that your love, your knowing that you belong together, that you have a vision, a legacy, to create and carry and seed and build and birth on this planet, that's what carries you. And just like when I got up last night and sat down and things kept stirring in me, and I made the post and said, I absolutely know this. I owned it. I stood in it. I chose it. I said I was going to talk about it. And I will tell you the last 24 hours, less than that, from the moment I went back and laid in bed, that energy was activated. And I spent much of today in motion as a result of me saying, I'm going to talk about it. And I haven't even really scratched the surface of how much I could talk to you about it. There's so much here for us. Masculine, feminine, couples, bonded, knowing you belong together. Your love is pure and true, and you have no idea how the hell you're going to make it. I'm peeking at my notes really quick. Yeah, the men in seeking a new way, what we as women have to understand is he is cultivating a new leadership style. And the way he has led you previously, one, isn't working for you anymore. You know that. And two, isn't what you want now. And yet, as I said earlier, your system is accustomed to the way that felt. So even as your consciousness and your choice goes, yeah, I know I don't want that. I know I want something different. The answer is going to be that your whole system begins to restructure and answer what you said. And as it does that, literally, when I look inside the energy body, it's almost like gears shifting and things aligning. And as that happens, other things get bumped out of place. It's similar to going to the chiropractor, right? And the chiropractor cracks your bones to get you back into alignment. And maybe you walk out of there and for a couple days, man, you're kind of uncomfortable because you're in a new spinal alignment and your body's used to the old one, used to kind of compensating and being crooked. But now you're in this new alignment and your whole system is going, whoa, damn, this feels different. What about this? I mean, we were really kind of comfortable. Feel that? That's happening in its own way with our men who are noticing this isn't working for me. I don't feel alive. She wants more. I want her. I want us. I want to create with her. I want to answer her desires. I want to provide for her. I want to please her. I want to give her sexual pleasure. I want to create a life and wealth for her. And I have no idea what that means now. Because this over here, this way I've been doing it, doesn't really feel so good. I can't keep doing that. I feel dead inside. He can't. And so he's beginning to make the choices you as woman really desire him to make. And yet in the gap, it's uncomfortable because it doesn't feel like that and it doesn't feel like this. And what the fuck is this in the middle? There's going to be a gap. And in that gap, that's where there's no map. You can see ahead. I see that. We create, we build something new, we birth new energy, whether it's children or energy or a creation or a business or wealth or real estate or art, whatever it may be. You can see that. You can see what's been true, how he's provided, how he's taken care of you, how he's shown up in the world. But in the gap, you can't see shit. You can't see in the gap. It's dark because it's unknown territory. unprecedented, not mapped. All you have is the compass of your truth. That's it. And the bigger consciousness hears you speaking your truth. I desire more intimacy. I desire a new way. Oh, do you? Okay. Turn it on. Here it comes. And parts of that are going to be uncomfortable. In the gap. There is a gap. Just allow that to be true. There's a gap between what you've known and what you know is possible. Welcome to Aquarius. Welcome to being the bridge between Pisces and Aquarius. This is the time that you're alive. This is what you chose. This is what makes you feel alive, right? This is it. Ask this question. What is possible here? What is possible here? And for the women who are in the state of, I've grown, I've expanded, I have consciousness, I want to talk to him about it, I want to share it with him, I want to build things, create things, birth, I want his seed, I want to birth it into the world, I want us to do it together, and I want it to be with him. I want this man. And this man isn't showing up the way I want him to, and so you're frustrated. Here's a little nugget for you. That man who stays with you and you with him, a mutual bonded decision. That man is a pioneer in an entirely new world. It's not colonized. It's not populated. There's no settlement. He's arriving new on the scene. Expecting him to know what to do and to know how to do it just because you can see the possibility is not realistic. We in the feminine have to step back and allow our men space to navigate, to be the pioneer, to forge the pathway forward. First for himself. And secondly, because it's for him, it's for us. Because he's following his compass. He has his compass, you have yours. You can love him, honor that he's forging a new path, and stay in what you know is true. It doesn't mean you lay down and just wait and do nothing. You stay in what you know. You take your next step. You trust your knowing and that it's coming, even if it's not here right now and you can't see it and touch it and taste it and make love to it. He's navigating his own path. Allow him that. That's ultimately what turns you on, right? The masculine, blazing a trail, architecting something new and different. It's not going to look the way you think it will. So let him do his thing. And the challenge for us in the feminine is to not shut down, to not quiet our desire. Even as he's forging a path, he can't read your mind. He's not going to have all your answers. He's not going to make it okay for you. That's not his job. It's yours. It's for you to know what you desire. It's for you to express it to him and in the world the way that you choose and is right for you. For those of us who have been in long-term relationships, especially if we're still together, we've created such a flow together that that becomes our natural movement through life. And there's now this disruption, which is he's not doing the same thing, you're not doing the same thing, here's the gap. It's not flowing the same. It's kind of going, and it's getting stuck. It's just a shift in frequency. Know that. Pull back and see from a different perspective and stay true to what's in you. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Eddie. It's nice to see you both. Yeah, for the woman, I just feel so strongly. They sound like mundane words, but feel the energy of this, that for you in the feminine, it's about you deepening your intimacy. We are looking for that from our men, and to get to that, we are being asked, moved to deepen intimacy with ourselves in ways we have never done. Our desires, our needs, our expression, how it wants to come out, our emotion, that's how we feel alive. We feel all of it. And are learning to not get stuck in the feeling. For many in the feminine, there's been this movement in the spiritual world, and I would even say in the tantric world, that the bigness of emotion equals expansion in consciousness. I experienced this. The bigger that I felt, the bigger energy I felt running through my system, and it burned me out. I lost a ton of weight. I was not well. It's no longer about that, and that is not sustainable. Being alive is being able to expand the energy, feel the emotion that comes with that expanded energy, and stay present with ourselves. Not shut down, not judge, not decide we're wrong, not have all of this other dialogue with ourselves, and to do the same for our men. To trust his path and his leadership, even if you don't think you can see it. If he's leading himself, allow him that. Allow him the space to figure out what that means now. Whew. Because he's navigating new ways to lead himself, but it's going to lead you. You just don't understand it yet. You can't see it yet. Or you're not accustomed to. It's not a limitation. It's a newness. It's a newness. For both of you, it's trusting yourself. It's trusting your bond when you know you are bonded. And I knew this without a doubt in December. I knew, finally, crystal clean and clear, it's George. I'm bonded to this man. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know how long it takes for us to have what I know we can have. I don't know what next moves he's going to make as he navigates and forges and clears a path to an entirely new way of doing man that isn't dependent on a job to tell him he's done a good job, or a wife who says, thank you for making us money. Thank you for our home. Let's raise our children. Instead, he's got a woman who says, babe, I know there's more, and I want it with you. That's kind of scary sometimes. For a man who's done it one way and now he's doing it a different way, it's disruptive. That's what I mean by scary. It's disruptive, it's unknown, it's naked. And as humans, we are accustomed to, I am naked, I need clothes. Cover this up. We're learning how to walk naked. Unmarked naked territory. That's what I wrote. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much what I want to say about it for now. And my final notes are this frequency of love, this bond of love, this connection, this way of doing relationship, the pieces I've touched on, and there's so much more, is unprecedented. For men to be able to choose what they are now and stay present with themselves, not shut down so they can go to battle, to stay present with the lover within, to hold the frequency of that king authority and leadership, to be the warrior who still can forge a pathway and do battle when needed, and to practice his magic. King, warrior, magician, lover. At some point in the near future, I'm going to offer work to men around all four of those archetypes. And it will be the halls of masculine architecture. King, warrior, magician, lover. In these new energetics. And I'll also be available for couples, for women or men or together. Because we are coming into a new time. We are mapping a new pathway. We are the readers of an entirely new energetic. And there is no guidebook. We're the first ones. No one has explored this area and written a map and said, this is how you do it. This is it. So we're creating it. I'm creating it. George is creating it. We're creating it together. And those of you who are navigating this are creating pieces of that map. An entirely new experience. It's all changing. This love is unprecedented. And I guess the last thing I would say is that know this. If these are your choices and this is the path you're walking, all the pieces, the tiniest little grains of sand that would prevent you from going forward on it are all going to come up. They're all going to show up. I said twice already. Mine did. Today, grains of sand. Okay, Jacqueline, you're ready to talk about this? These expanded energies, you're ready to bring that through and channel and share and read and map? Here's your next initiation. And it comes quick now. So be prepared. And if you need somebody to walk beside you, no doubt in my mind, this is my work. I am here. So with that, I'm going to close for this evening. Thank you for those who were here with me. Eddie, I see you've been here a bit. Samantha, I've seen a few others pop in, and I see there are others of you here. I would love it if you leave a note. And I'm sending big love to all of you.